Hey guys, Conquistador here, and I've got some breaking tech news that I feel really needs to be shared immediately. Now, things have been really crazy lately, how much content there is right now to make videos on, but this one particular story I feel very strongly about and really passionate about. It's actually got the entire tech tuber community in an uproar, and I, for one, feel that this particular injustice needs to be reported on. The villain should be revealed and then be absolutely shamed in this story. So, who is this terrible perpetrator, you might ask? Well, it's none other than Nvidia. So, let's talk about it. Now, as the maker of graphics cards, the product that Nvidia produces is absolutely wonderful. Hands down, I absolutely love their products. There's no argument there. As a company, I do not feel the same way. This is a big monopoly. And don't get it twisted either. Nvidia is a big business of corporate greed with shady practices of monopolizing the GPU industry, and that is exactly what it is, and it's really unfortunate. Now, it's been known to shove its weight around and has continually grown its control over its board partners as well, such as Asus, MSI, Zotac, anybody that makes a graphics card has to get their GPU from Nvidia. So Nvidia has a lot of control and say in what things happen. And because they have so much power, they've been known at times to even strong arm their board partners into doing some shady things as well. So it's almost like a mafia would act at times. But as it turns out, Nvidia may have overstepped and gone a little too far this time. So what's basically happened is a well-known tech tuber that reviews hardware. His name is Steve. He runs the channel called Hardware Unboxed. And he has just felt the force of the intimidation and manipulation that Nvidia has been known to exert. But now the entire community is beginning to push back. Now, what Nvidia has done exactly is basically they have banned any review samples of their Founder Edition GPUs from reaching this reviewer. So at the times that he would need these cards in his particular line of business, he's going to be unable to. Instead, he's going to have to source his GPUs from a different company. He's going to have to also go through the embargo period that the other board partners have to go through as well. So Nvidia basically releases their Founders Edition cards, and then after a day or two later, then the reviews and the other board partners cards can come out. So that's really going to affect Steve. He's probably going to end up losing sleep because of this. He's going to lose time with his family, possibly. He's going to lose money. These are a lot of things that are going to affect this individual. And it's unfortunate because he is a tech tuber that really holds the standard for what it means to be a good tech tube reviewer. And it's really upsetting. And now this wouldn't be so bad as well if there were more than just Nvidia and AMD making all the GPUs that go in the graphics cards. They basically told Hardware Unboxed in a leaked email that they weren't giving them good enough reviews on their tech. So they have strong-armed them into basically being blacklisted from half of all the GPU makers in the world, effectively. All two of them. Possibly three if you count Intel, but that'd be closer to like 2.5 rather three. but all jokes aside now, actually, this is a very serious matter though. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to read you the full email, and then I'm going to tell you what I personally think about it and what the other big name tech tubers and reviewers are saying about it and their thoughts about it. And then I'll just finish up with my own final thoughts real quick. And then also I'll provide all my sources in the details below, so if you want to research this on your own, I'll go ahead and provide you my sources in links down below so that you can go ahead and research this yourself. With that, let me just go ahead and read the email. Also, by the way, I have written down a lot of notes, so I apologize ahead of time. I wanted to get this out as soon as possible, so I haven't memorized everything as much as I normally would. I want it written down in front of me because I want to ensure that this is as accurate as possible. So with that, I'm going to read the email. So the email reads as this, and I'm just going to not interrupt. I'm going to read it straight as follows, okay? So this is how the email goes. Hi, Steve. We've reached a critical juncture in the adoption of ray tracing, and it has gained industry-wide support from top titles, developers, game engines, APIs, consoles, and GPUs. As you know, Nvidia is all in for ray tracing. RT is important and core to the future of gaming, but it's also one part of our focused R&D efforts on revolutionizing video games and creating a better experience for gamers. This philosophy is also reflected in developing technology such as DLSS, Reflex, and Broadcast that offer immense value to customers who are purchasing a GPU. They don't get free GPUs. They work hard for their money, and they keep their GPUs for multiple years. Despite all this progress, your GPU reviews and recommendations have continued to focus singularly on rasterization performance, and you have largely discounted all of the other technologies we offer gamers. It is very clear from your community commentary that you do not see things the same way that we do. Gamers and the rest of the industry do. Our Founders Editions, boards, and other Nvidia products are being allocated to media outlets that recognize the changing landscape of gaming and the features that are important to gamers and anyone buying a GPU today, be it for gaming, content creation, or studio and stream. Hardware Unboxed should continue to work with our add-in card partners to secure GPUs to review. Of course, you will still have access to obtain pre-release drivers and press materials. That won't change. We are open to revisiting this in the future should your editorial direction change. We are open to revisiting this in the future should your editorial direction change. Brian Del Rizzo, Director of Global PR, GeForce. So, there's a lot of things wrong with that email. So I'm just going to go over it real quick and just tell you how I personally feel about it. Basically, they're saying, for one thing, they don't like that Nvidia's personal narrative isn't being pushed how they want it to. Nvidia has ray tracing as basically the thing that's separating them from going toe-to-toe with AMD. Without ray tracing, AMD would really be, giving Nvidia a run for its money. And I think that Nvidia is worried about that. And another thing is that Steve does, on his reviews, he does post a lot of material that does focus more towards rasterization, and he tends to gloss over more on like DLSS and ray tracing, more so than other tech tubers. But but he still covers it, and he covers it well and good. He provides accurate information, and he does what he needs to do in all of his reviews. So I'm not disputing that. Another issue I have is where it's almost patronizing how this is phrased, where they're talking about the customers. They say that offer immense value to customers who are purchasing a GPU. They don't get free GPUs. They work hard for their money, and they keep their GPUs for multiple years. So basically, they're trying to give the impression that they're gifting hardware Unboxed their $600 GPUs, or however much it costs them to, produce them and then ship it to them. In reality, that's not a gift. It is a transaction. They are sending him this product. In return, he is doing a review and providing marketing for Nvidia. On top of that, now his channel has, I think, over 600,000 reviewers. I'm sorry, subscribers. Over 600,000 subscribers, and I believe that's around what it was. I think it might be more than that. But regardless, he has in the hundreds of thousands of actual subscribers. So, him reviewing these products, I think, are doing a lot more for Nvidia than them gifting him with one of their graphics cards. So another thing that they say that I don't really agree with is that they say that ray tracing is the future of gaming. Now that's an opinion. That's not actual fact. The truth of it is that not a lot of games actually support ray tracing. It's only still just a handful, maybe a couple of dozen, I think. Now, I would say that there is some truth to it. I do believe that more and more games are moving to using ray tracing. And Nvidia has implemented ray tracing beautifully with rasterization in their cards. Whereas AMD has a lot more rasterization, and they're just starting with ray tracing. And the thing about rasterization is that it's a technique that displays 3D objects onto a 2D plane. It's faster than ray tracing, but ray tracing can, I guess you could say, do a lot more than rasterization can. It's just slower in implementing it. So you have definitely a balancing act going on with that. But the end of this is what is really upsetting, is that they try and offer like an olive branch where they say, stay in touch with our add-in partners to secure GPUs to review. Of course, you'll still have access to obtain pre-release drivers and press materials. That won't change. Now that is, and it appears to be an olive branch, but in reality, it's a middle finger disguised as an olive branch in all reality, because there's not much you can do with these pre-release drivers and press materials if there's an embargo and he cannot, review the cards. So they can give him as many drivers and press material as he wants, but that doesn't matter. He can review the cards. He's blacklisted. So it's really disturbing. And then their final statements of them saying, "We are open to revisiting this in the future should your editorial direction change. Now, that is pretty shady, to be nice about it. I could say a lot worse words about that, but basically, we'll talk to you in the future if you're willing to follow our narrative. And not only that, this is designed as a press release. It's designed like that because I believe Nvidia believed that this was going to get leaked, because it's basically an email telling a tech reviewer how a graphics card works. So this is more of marketing than actual, personal email and communication. That's for sure. So I find this whole email disturbing. And not only that, because it's been leaked, and I believe it was intended to be that way, it sends a message to all the other tech tubers out there that you either get in line or there will be repercussions. There are consequences to not following the Nvidia narrative. And that above all else is something that I just find really appalling. And the sad thing is that you can't get your GPUs from anywhere else. And they know that. They know that you either go to AMD, which, they're finally competing with them, but for the longest, Nvidia was the only ones with high-end cards. But now, they're continuing to show that they don't really care about the consumer and more about profits, because, they're releasing these paper launches of these GPUs that they can't get, and I think that it's just to beat AMD to the finish line, in a sense. So they continue to put profits before consumers, and they show these shady actions time after time, and it's becoming bolder and bolder too. So I do believe that Nvidia has overstepped and really essentially got their hand caught in the cookie jar because of this. What else I wanted to cover was what the other tech tubers are saying. Now we have, first off, Linus Sebastian from Linus Tech Tips. He's got 3 other YouTube channels that are just as big. And so Linus Sebastian basically said that he's been seeing Nvidia doing this and becoming bolder and bolder, more and more, and doing all these kinds of things just more and more over the years recently. And then he flat out said, live on the WAN show, that he can survive without Nvidia, and he would rather not do business with them anymore if these types of actions keep up. And the sad thing is that Linus is probably one of the few people that could take the full repercussions and blacklisting and strong arming that Nvidia could impede, and Linus could still survive and continue to be successful. I don't think that there's a whole lot of other tech tubers that, if Nvidia decided that they wanted to take them out, they absolutely could. And I think that the Nvidia does need to be kept in check, for sure. So then we also have Jayztwocents. Jayztwocents posted some really serious statements as well on his social media. So I'm just going to paraphrase what he said, but he essentially stated, Nvidia is a slimy company that needs to get off its high horse. He feels it's shady, unethical, and full of liars and cheats. And lastly, he believes they've proven multiple times they show no concern for their consumers and only about controlling their own narrative. Jay felt that the email was designed as a press release also, and a lot of the things that Jay was saying I was agreeing with. I felt that way also. And so it seems to be the general consensus that a lot of people are feeling about this email. So he believed that this email was designed to be a press release because it seems like it looked like it was intended to be leaked with the style of how it's written. And Jayztwocents, in fact, has been banned from reviewing RTX 3090s. As a matter of fact, I didn't know that until I saw him doing a video just recently talking about this whole scandal with Nvidia. But he said himself that he's been banned from reviewing Nvidia's 3090s. Although he's still doing like 3090 SLI overclocks, and apparently Nvidia hates him doing that because those cards weren't meant to be doing those things, and so it's really pushing the cards into a situation that they're not supposed to be in. And I guess Nvidia doesn't like seeing that, but which is crazy, you know. I think that it actually helps the company, but because he's not following their program, they'd rather, you know, not have them at all. They'd rather just ban them, and that seems to be the case with a lot of people over the years. It's happening more and time again. So that's really unfortunate. Now we also have Barnacules. He posted that I would imagine that AMD cards can compete when RT is taken out of the equation. He's talking about ray tracing, taken out of the equation, and they don't like that narrative, despite it still shining them in a good light. It's good to have unbiased reviews, and it's unfortunate that they can't see that. And I totally agree with that statement. You know, Hardware Unboxed is actually an Australian tech tuber, and he does have a lot of differing opinions from Linus and Jay and a lot of the American reviewers. But it's that difference in opinion that really helps fuel the market and provide a somewhat checks and balances on the companies and the products to, you know, just to keep an even playing field for all the hardware out there and just kind of keep it balanced. It's good for the market. It's good for the consumers. What it's not good for is for a shady company that wants to monopolize the industry, set their own prices, their own overpriced prices for graphics cards, and only worry about making a profit rather than consumer happiness. And it looks like that things are starting to change with AMD really competing with Nvidia on multiple levels, and Intel starting to get involved with GPUs too, although they've still got a long way to go. And I've heard that there are some possible Chinese companies that might be coming up in the next few years. We'll have to wait and see on that. But it's good, you know, it's good for the consumer. It's good for the market. What it's not good for is Nvidia's bottom line of profit. And, you know, honestly, if they were just honest and treated their consumers better, they would make even more money essentially because their products could sell themselves. Honestly, their products are amazing. That, you know, their implementation of all the hardware is unbelievable. It's just that they would rather have control and be sinister and shady and make their profits that rather than doing the right thing, which is, it's sad to see. But I'm happy that this is. I'm not happy about it happening to a good guy like Steve, who's an excellent gold standard tech tube reviewer. But I'm glad to see that, you know, Nvidia is getting their hands slapped because it's been a long time coming, and I hope that they continue to get put in their place along with AMD too. Both of them do need to be, you know, feel that the consumer comes first, and I think that AMD has a closer is closer to worrying about their consumers over Nvidia, although AMD does have their faults as well. You know, they did just have a not even a paper launch, a vapor launch with their graphics cards. So AMD's got a lot of things to work on too, but I do feel like Nvidia's probably a bigger villain in this situation, and right now they are the villain for sure. And so another thing I did want to finish up with that there might be more to the story. So about a week ago, Steve was from Hardware Unboxed. Sorry, there's another Steve from Gamers Nexus. So when I refer to Steve, I'm only talking about Hardware Unboxed. But Steve from Hardware Unboxed, he was talking about a week ago, before he got this email and all this stuff happened, and he got blacklisted. About a week ago, he was saying that there was some shady stuff going on behind the scenes with some tech tubers. And then about a week later, he got banned and blacklisted by Nvidia. Now, so that makes me feel there might be more to the story. And then on top of that, have been other companies that do refuse to work with him now. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but I think since Hardware Unboxed has been pretty silent so far about everything. It's just basically been just the email that's been leaked and a short statement by Hardware Unboxed on their YouTube channel and their community, and then and basically all the other talk's been from all the other tech tubers. So I think there might be more to the story. I can't say for sure, but we will see as time goes by. But I hope that this will help improve Nvidia's stance on consumer happiness, and it will just improve the industry as a whole. So, and as my grandmother would always tell me, there's no such thing as bad publicity. The good thing for Steve is that he has a lot of support. He's got friends in the business, so I think he's going to be all right. But, it's if Nvidia can do this to a tech tuber like Steve, then it worries me because they can do it to smaller and more vulnerable ones as well, and they'll be easier to comply and manipulate as well as they're growing. So that is a concern. So this does need to be handled and fixed. So I hope that everything will be done correctly, and that Nvidia will move to improving how they're acting with their consumers instead of profits, for sure. Because right now, this whole scandal is really telling. But with that's everything for now. I just really wanted to get all that information out there. I hope it was enlightening for you. I hope that that this helps Hardware Unboxed, and also helps get more people aware of the situation. And so, again, I'll provide all the sources in the details below, and also please comment make a comment in this comment section about what you think about this. So have you heard anything different? Do you know anything more that's developing with this story? What other experiences have happened with Nvidia? I'm curious about hearing it. So please go ahead and leave a comment below. I'm interested in hearing your own opinions as well, because this is definitely something that I'm very passionate about, and I think should be handled properly. So with that, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and hit that subscribe button. I'll continue to put out more tech news and try and put out more content as soon as I can, and continue to improve this channel. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Everybody stay safe, take care, and I gotta get back to playing my Cyberpunk. So with that, everybody take care. I'll talk to you guys later. Everyone stay safe and stay healthy.